All right. All right. Welcome, welcome. So there's a couple of others that are popping in. All right. And if you're just now joining, okay, yeah, Erica says it's her first time as well. Okay, hello everyone. All right. So this is what we're doing. We're just currently just virtual co-working. So we're just working independently. Obviously, you can talk if you would like, but for the most part, we're just going through and just working on what's on the top of our to-do list for the next hour. So it's like the hour of productivity. You probably did get a notification, so it is streaming to YouTube as well. So just to let you guys know, you probably see it on the screen too. But again, you can ask any questions if you want to ask any questions, not just to me. If there's other people that want to answer questions as well, that's fine. Hello, Cam is popping through. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mute myself out. You guys are welcome to, if you do need to say something on mic or something like that, you're welcome to do that. Or if you have something to say you want to post in the chat, you could do that as well.
I have a question for you, Ms. Kenniqua. So when starting the business, all we really need is the website and domain, correct? Do we need a web hosting as well?
I'm not gonna say that that's all you would need. But yeah, if you're wanting to get a website, yeah, you'll need to get the domain hosting and everything like that. Some people do it all in one place. Like some of our websites that we have, they're through Squarespace and everything is done through Squarespace.
Yes.
But I also have other websites where they're on Squarespace and then like the domain is with Namecheap.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Yeah, because I'm pretty much set up. Like I got my LLC, I got my EIN, I got my business bank account. So now I'm just trying to work out the social media side, like the web building and all that.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I always, if you can, kind of put them all under the same thing. I personally just find it easier to have everything under the same, under the same account, but honestly, it doesn't really matter.
I have a question. Do you hear me?
Okay, April, you said that I can answer you out loud. You said that you're just trying to figure out where can you get contracts for some of your agents. I would actually recommend Carrie from Girl Listening. She does have the contracts. I can actually, let me get the link for you. I know when you use our link that you will save 10%. So let me get the link for you. 1 second. Okay. All right, so this is the link, and you have to use the password. It's a Rise IBO to be able to get to that page. Okay, and then you also got us to ask if should you post to all your social media platforms? I would say it would really depend. So if you already have, in my opinion, if you already have a whole bunch of social media platforms like already set up, like let's say you already have IG, you already got Facebook, Twitter, all that type of stuff. If you're using something like a scheduler to be able to send your information out, then it wouldn't really matter. So like for example, like we use Hootsuite to do our social media. So we have all of our platforms, which we're not on a lot of platforms. It's really just like Facebook and Instagram for the most part. But if you can add multiple ones, so you can add a Twitter, you can add a LinkedIn. So it's not really taking that much from you if you're using a scheduler. But like if you're posting individually to all these different ones, then I would personally consider narrowing it down to about one or two of where you think that your audience is really hanging out. Because otherwise, I feel like it could kind of be a lot if you do it in any other type of way.
Ms. Kenny, you also used a scheduler through Squarespace as well?
For social media, I don't believe so. Not for social media. Now they do have a scheduler. I'm not sure if this is what you may be referring to. They do have a scheduler for like booking appointments.
Oh,
And they
gotcha.
do have that that you can purchase through there, but not in terms of social media. But if you use it, or if you're using something like Canva, Canva does do scheduling as well. I think you do have to be on Canva Pro, if I'm not mistaken, to be able to use it. I personally have never used it before. It's a fairly new feature that they've had probably within the last year or so, I believe. But you can schedule directly through Canva for people who, like, if you don't want to pay extra. But there's some services that you can use that don't cost that much. Like sometimes you can use like a system called Later. I use Later too, because I think that's pretty good for Instagram because it allows you to be able to kind of see like your whole Instagram layout. And but there's other services that you can use too.
Okay.
You said that Goddess says she's in Facebook Business Suite. Yeah. So if you're using that, you should be okay in terms of using it for like Facebook and Instagram. But if you have other social media platforms, I don't really use the Facebook tools too much, but I don't believe like you can use it for other platforms. But I would really just kind of me personally just pick one or two because I don't really think I don't really think that you can really be really present on every single platform. I
Right.
mean, do what you need to do on every single platform because each platform requires something different. So I would kind of go through and kind of pick and choose, where you find it best to market that way. April, you said what should you add to your packages when hiring your agents? What packages are you offering?
You talking to me?
Hello, Tony. It looks like Tony just came in too. So Tony, we're just doing a virtual co-working right now. Well, I guess I don't understand, April, when you said that you were just looking for guidance. I guess I'm just trying to figure out what you mean by packages. So I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean like adding something to like welcome packages for your agents, or is this some type? I guess I'm not really clear of like your process with what you mean. Or are you talking about services, like different things that you should, offer to your people?
Ms. Kenniqua, I have information. I'm working on the contact information. Do you recommend any main way of point of contact? Like, do you mainly use email? Should I get a business phone number for them to contact? Because I wouldn't really like to use my personal phone number.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't use your personal. I do recommend getting a business line. I would say whatever means of communication that really work best for you. So if you want to say, email, phone number, and then if you want to add something else, like typically what we like to do is email, phone number, and like a Slack channel. We will do that. I personally don't do like text messages and stuff like that. And the reason for that is because to me, it could become really disorganized because, people are texting you and you don't necessarily know what phone number, especially because we have a business line. So if you're texting, I don't know what number that's coming from. I can't really keep records of it that way, like the conversations and things like that versus the phone calls I can, because I can kind of, I guess I can always put notes in my system, even from a text message, but I just let people know that, even if I text message out, because sometimes I may use the phone, I may use our line to send a text message out when they first apply. So I might say, hey, just, check your email, we're sending this over. But in that text message, I let them know that this is not monitored. So don't text us back. If you have a question, call us, don't text us back. So I guess it's whatever does work for you, but I would try to be clear on your means of communication. So whatever it is that you decide to do, I wouldn't really accept means of communication outside of that. Because sometimes what we'll do is we'll have people that may have actually joined our roster at that point, and then now they're sending us a Facebook message. And I don't even answer the question. I let them know, hey, send us an email to blah, 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 and we'll be happy to answer. Because if you begin to kind of fall outside of that means of communication, then they're going to figure, oh, it's okay, she's going to answer the question anyway.
Right.
And, I simply don't, like, again, because I can't keep records of that, to try to figure out, okay, I told you XYZ, but where did I tell you? Did I tell you on text message? Did I tell you on Facebook? So yeah, it's whatever works for you. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer, but I wouldn't give them your personal phone number though.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're welcome. Your welcome package. I would just put in your welcome package, I would just put everything that you believe that they need in order to be able to get started with your company. So just like how we were talking about with Erica, with means of communication, putting in your hours, putting in your expectations, things of that nature, of course, contracts, any type of incentives or bonuses or something like that that you may offer to your people, I would go through and include that. I would give them an introduction of like who you are. Just give them a little bit, because the thing about it is people like working with people that they feel that they at least kind of know, like, know, and trust. But it's good if you can give them a little bit of insight of like your background. Why is it that you started this business? And let them know exactly what they can expect from you. So I would kind of include all of that type of information, and again, contact information, um, your IBO fee. So if you're charging an IBO fee, how that fee structure is set up, I would definitely put that. Your pay rates. So I believe that they should have access to the pay rates, whether you decide to put them in a welcome packet or not. They should have access to that somewhere accessible that they should be able to find pretty much on their own. You don't necessarily want them to have to keep contacting you to be able to get the pay rates. I'm actually, Dondre, I'm actually going to be doing, I actually have a, so I can give you, I do have a video for that in terms of the IBO fees. I'm actually going to be redoing this video. So I'm going to be redoing this video. It actually should be on YouTube on Thursday. But I can give you the link to the current one that I do have. It's still accurate. Only reason why I am redoing it is because I'm going to go through and add to it, add a couple different ways. So right now, the video, it has 3 different ways that you can earn money with your IBO. I'm just going to be redoing it so I could just add another way. So I'm going to put that into the chat. So let me find that video. And that actually breaks down everything in that video. The video here. Okay. All right, you're welcome. So yeah, I put that into the chat. And Lysandra, I believe, just joined. Welcome, Lysandra. We're just doing virtual co-working here.
Ms. Kenniqua, we can hear you if you're talking.
Oh, you guys can't hear me. Okay, I was muted.
I hear
Okay,
you now.
sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, let me go back to what I said. Oh, April, the hourly rate. Hourly rate, you would basically just tell them, you would just let them know, you would put it in many places as you can. So you would put it like in your welcome letters. I would put it on my website if I were you. Your contracts, I would, put it, whether you're doing hourly rate percentages, I would just let them know and put it in as many places as you can, so they'll already be aware of it. Dundry, the answer to your question would be yes. And in terms of payroll processor, I actually personally use Square Up. I do know other like Arise IBOs, they do use Gusto as well. So I haven't personally used it, but I do hear a lot of people say that they use it just fine. So you said that your question is, if a client pays $14 and you decide to pay 12, do I disclose that information? It's totally up to you. The one thing about an IBO and really taking off of the rate of pay. Really and truly, people really have to kind of understand that that's how most businesses make money, in terms of not just the Rise IBOs, but in terms of if you work for a call center business. Like if you work in an advertising, I know I worked at a call center and I work for a call center at UPS. And I know for a fact that I was not getting paid what the client pays. Nobody gets paid what the client pays, not in real life. So it's totally up to you of how you would like to go through and relay that information to them. Like I said, I'll be talking about that a little bit more on Thursday. Okay, what's up? Just you guys saying you didn't hear me. Okay, yeah.
Are you gonna send us an email for the Thursday so we can join in as well, or?
It's just gonna be a YouTube video. I'm just gonna post it on YouTube, so just be a YouTube video.
Because I have a question. I know they pay twice a month. I know there's certain dates that to pay out. So in order for, I know there was a lot of complaints with people not getting paid on time. So we would give ourselves as the owners maybe a week before the actual pay date to pay them, correct?
Okay,
to process our payroll and stuff so they could get paid on time.
Okay, so in all actuality, depending on, I mean, of course, people are going to say, well, this particular situation happened and I wasn't able to pay someone on time. But in terms of just and how it is of when a Rise pays you, you should always pay your agents on time. So there really shouldn't be any reason why, unless there's those far-fetched reasons where something crazy just happens. You should always be able to pay your agents on time. Arise pays IBOs in enough time that you should always pay on time.
Got it.
So even with us, we use Square Up. Like most payroll processors, they take 2 business days to actually do the deposit. With Square Up, it actually takes 4 business days, and we still pay our agents on time.
Okay.
So yeah, so it really shouldn't be any, reason why. Tony, well, I think what I like to try to tell people to do, and I'm trying to think about, do I actually have this in a video to kind of explain this? What I recommend in terms of trying to figure out what the top programs are is really just based off of preference personally. What I try to tell my agents is to kind of map them out into 4 different categories of what matters the most to you. So the categories that I believe in terms of when you're going through and choosing a client are really going to be in terms of the pay rate, whether or not pay rate matters to you. It will also have to do with the actual client themselves and what the client actually does. So me personally, when I was servicing, I like to do fun stuff. I didn't really like taking calls for clients that I felt like, for example, I was never that person that wanted to take calls for like the internet cable, because typically when people are calling internet cable providers, they're calling to complain. I personally never wanted to take those type of calls. So kind of put it into the category of what it is that you want to do. how long certification class is going to be. So if that really, really matters to you, how long that certification class is going to be. And then lastly, the cost of certification itself. So I kind of recommend agents to kind of put it into those categories and kind of put at the top of their list what matters the most to them, and then kind of pick the clients from there. Because what I like and what other people like, you know, I personally like cruise line companies, but those tend to be like the lower paying companies. But when I was servicing, for me personally, that part really didn't matter because I'd rather take the lower pay and actually enjoyed what I was doing versus taking a higher pay and really hate taking calls. So, and in terms of tech issues, again, that's relative because I feel like everybody's computers are different. So some people may seemingly always have tech problems versus you may have people that really never experience tech problems. Like when I was servicing, I rarely experienced tech issues. So, and I serviced over the course of my time, I've probably tried at least 7 different client programs. And like I said, I didn't really have a lot of tech issues. Now, I will say if I did have tech issues, it was anytime I did a client, which it was only once, but when I did a client that's behind the ASD. I personally am not an ASD fan. And that's the only time that I really experienced any problems per se, like tech problems.
Ms. Kenniqua, what's the fourth category again? Did you mention?
You said which one? I'm sorry.
The fourth category was the fourth category.
The certification cost itself, because sometimes that matters to people. Sometimes you'll get agents, like I'll get agents sometimes, and they want to enroll into a class just because it's like free or it's like $9.99. Which again, if that's something that's important to them, they can kind of move that within their important level. I personally don't see it that way. But again, that's kind of why I kind of tell them to kind of, map it out and see what's best for them. Because just because it's the cheaper one doesn't make it the better one, or doesn't make it the worst one either. But I don't personally recommend choosing clients based off of that, but we have people that do that all the time.
I have a quick question. When you're recruiting people, do you normally try to recruit them in the groups, or do you just try to do a one-on-one where it's more personal with the person? Because I'm just starting out, so I just want to know which would be a better way to bring more agents in.
If I'm doing like something like an information session, me personally, always doing groups. When I first started, I used to do individuals. So I used to do, and this was like early on, individual like appointments to kind of walk them through or to tell them about the opportunity and stuff like that. It's very, very time consuming. And then also too, you'll find like when you start doing people individually, if this isn't something that they paid for, like they didn't pay to talk to you, they may not even show up. So it's kind of like a waste of time. So I'll go through and I used to sit there and I'm trying to explain something to people and I'm doing, 10 meetings a day and 5 people show up, 5 meeting slots show up. So I always do them. If I'm doing an information session, I'm doing something live, I personally like to do it in groups. Now, I will say that a lot of the things that we like to do are pre-recorded. So, but I will offer live classes, but a lot of them, because people are busy and sometimes they can't always meet when I'm available to meet. Because even probably up until last year, like I personally used to offer again sessions at nighttime and like after 5 o'clock. I don't do that anymore. Like I would almost say 99.9% chance not going to do it. after 5 o'clock, just because it's a real inconvenience. So even like with the agents or even events that I offer for IBOs, I know sometimes people can't always come to the things that I have during the day. Um, it's a real hassle for me to do these type of things at night, because I have a lot going on. I have a 3-year-old, I have, a 13-year-old, I have to cook, I have to, I have to do all these other things. And so that's why even when we're doing information sessions with some of the agents, some of them, they have full-time jobs. So they have to come at like 7 o'clock. So that's why a lot of things that we were doing, a lot of it is pre-recorded, but yeah. But I would always say groups. I would always go for groups, not individual. No, Tony, they wouldn't get a W-2. W-2 would be for employees, unless you're hiring employees. And some people, they hire employees, but most people hire for contractors. So they get a 1099. All right, so now we are now ending or nearing the end of virtual co-working. So I appreciate everyone that has come on to join us here today. We will be doing this again next month. So next month, just be sure to just keep a lookout on your emails. If you're signed up to our email list, that way you'll be able to join these events. Or also, if you're inside the Facebook group, you will be able to see that event notification pop up. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys joining us here, and I hope you enjoy the